please. Okay, thank you. All right, this class is not intended to prescribe anything or diagnose or treat or cure. This is only intended to be an educational talk. So what you're going to learn today, we're going to talk a little bit about fad diets, about trends that make you sick. For some people, you know, you've heard about the word keto, you've heard about paleo diet and all the different diets. And people have actually decided to go on those diets and they've actually harmed their body by following those diets. You're also going to be finding out about foods that are right for your unique body type. You'll also be finding out about the foods that harm your body or stressing your body. You'll also be finding out about key nutrients that you need to give your body good health. So I will be mentioning at some point today different foods that you need to eat on a daily basis, and also where you can find good quality that will be good for you. Please, if you do have any questions, if you type them on the chat, and I will answer the questions at the end. So please put your questions on chat, and I will probably at some point stop to answer any questions that you might have. Just checking the chat. Okay, thank you very much, Lorraine, for joining, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining again. So who is Princess Glory? Some people know me as different things. Well, Princess Glory is a wellness coach and also a nutritionist. I have been in the health, I've been a health enthusiast for over 14 years. I love food. And for those people that follow my food page, you see some of the foods that I obviously make. I eat for myself. I didn't want to start this business, Gloriado Nutrition, because of my body, and also because my body was very sensitive to a lot of foods. I love cooking, like I said, and I love eating good food. My passion is to find out food and how food can heal your body. Been a wellness coach for about 5 years, and I'm also a detox specialist. I'm just gonna start off with showing you a mini video that is only about a minute long. I just want everyone to listen to the video and also to take some notes of what the lady's saying.
As a health professional, you'll be aware that obesity can cause cancer, but you might have questions about how exactly it does. It's to do with fat's secondary role in the body, because as well as being a store of extra calories, it's also essentially a big endocrine gland sending out a constant stream of biological information and instructions that affects processes like growth, metabolism, and reproductive cycles. And it's because of body fat's ability to affect our physiology that researchers have identified 3 main ways obesity is linked to cancer. Extra body fat can lead to greater levels of growth hormones such as insulin and insulin-like growth factor, sex hormones like estrogen, and chronic inflammation. And all of these factors can signal our cells to divide more often, increasing the chances of cancer cells developing. But because extra body fat can affect so many different biological processes and affects different people in different ways, untangling all the ways obesity is linked to cancer is a complicated and ongoing area of research. And it's likely different mechanisms are working in different cancer types. For example, gastric acid reflux is likely one of the main ways obesity increases the risk of esophageal and gastric cardiac cancer, whereas high levels of estrogen are almost certainly how obesity causes womb and breast cancer. For more information, head to Cancer Research UK's website.
The reason why I started off with that video is to tell you how obesity actually links to cancer, but also lots of people after the COVID have actually become obese. The statistics in the UK tells us that 62.8% of adults between the ages of 18 and over have become overweight or obese. And this is obviously similar to the previous year. 67% of Black adults are overweight or obese. So that's obviously, you can find that out in the UK website as well. 32.2% of adults from Chinese ethnic group are also become overweight and obese. And I've noticed that lots of people after the COVID, they've actually put on a lot of weight, and some people haven't been able to shed those weights. I am just gonna also be talking about affect our body. So it's not just obesity as well. Processed food also affect us and how it affects
Processed food is high sugar, low fiber, high sugar for palatability, low fiber for shelf life. When you're consuming processed food, the sugars, the glucose, the fructose, the sucrose, the digested starch, gets absorbed in the first part of the intestine very rapidly and goes straight to the liver. The liver gets overwhelmed and it has no choice but to take the excess energy and turn it into fat. When your liver turns energy into fat, that's when disease starts. That's what causes chronic metabolic disease, such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver disease, polycystic ovarian disease, cancer. Fiber prevents that. So when you consume real food, you are protecting your liver and feeding your gut. In the 1960s, women were going back to work, and the problem was cooking takes a while. Breakfast cereal companies started making foods that were easy to buy, easy to pour, live on a shelf, virtually, unlimited shelf life. They took off like wildfire. And it's very clear why. Number one, they were cheap. Number two, they were subsidized. And number three, they were delicious. Processed food has a label because they have to say what they did to it, or what they put into it, or what they took out of it, or what's in it, because it's not what normally is in it. If there's added sugar, it's been processed. If the dietary fiber is lower than 5 grams, it's also been processed. Cooking does not take that long. What takes the most time is deciding what you're going to have for dinner and then going to the store to shop for it. If you go to a standard restaurant, in the time that you were ordering and waiting for your food, you could have cooked. So the goal today is to educate people on how to cook.
Okay, thank you very much for listening to that short video. I'm sure one of the things that came out of the video is that you need to cook. So for those of us that like to eat out, eat junk food, please take that on board and make your food. There are lots of nice, delicious foods that you can make that does not take time. One of my tips today is for you to avoid processed junk food because there is no fiber in them, there's no nutrients in them, there are no proteins in them. They contain refined grains, unhealthy fats, and added sugar as well. Junk food tricks your body to thinking that you're eating food, but obviously that leads to a lot of diseases again and cancer. Research has linked excess consumption of processed meats to inflammatory diseases like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and many more. Reducing and eliminating processed meat from your diet can help reduce inflammation. So I would suggest that you choose fresh foods wherever possible, like grass-fed beef, lean protein like chicken or fish. Also, these foods have a variety of nutrients, including omega fatty acids. So if you eat the right food, you will get the right nutrients into your body. Another processed food I would like everyone to avoid is sugar. Processed contain a lot of sugar. And as a result of that, you lead to diabetes and insulin spike. For many people, insulin is one of the problems that they have, and of course, links to type 2 diabetes. Many African, Asian people always suffer from type 2 diabetes, but some people, of course, are born with diabetes gene, and they obviously have type 1 diabetes, which is very difficult to cure. But obviously, with change of diet and everything, you can manage situations. Both conditions result in chronically elevated levels of inflammation, which can lead to all sorts of serious health problems. The key to avoiding these problems is to take processed food in moderation. You can try to replace your processed food with healthy alternatives such as fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, and whole foods, and no added sugar, no added ingredients. I just wanted to use this opportunity to just say a little bit of a story about myself, how processed food almost ruined my life. I think 4 years ago, I was very addicted to Snickers bar. I know a lot of people know that chocolate. I always had to eat that chocolate. If I haven't eaten that chocolate in a day, I feel like I am not a human being. So I kept on doing that. And before I knew what was happening, I had what they call ganglion cysts. I could not use my hand to write for 3 months. And then I started to experience gout as well. Gout, is a rich man's disease. And that involves you not eating meat or organ meat. I love to eat my organ meat, my pepper soup and stuff. So when I started to research it, I realized that the food I was eating was actually killing me, especially that Snickers. So I stopped eating Snickers. I still don't eat Snickers to today because I realized that eating processed food, processed stuff was causing a lot of problem for me. For some people, they're addicted to chocolate, they're addicted to lots of things. Then I started to detox. I did a scan and I started to detox, and I found that, these things are causing a lot of problems. They're not only stressing my body, they're also weakening my body as well. So again, in terms of processed food will cause a lot of gut issues. So lots of people that I have been speaking to or have done scans for, one of the things I found is that they have issues with their gut. And since processed food has a little or no nutritional value, your body will react to these foods that you're eating. This type of inflammation will link to IBS. For many people, they suffer from IBS, which obviously is a stomach condition that affects a lot of people. Some people have skin problems like dry skin, autoimmune disease, or even cancer. On Saturday, I met a lady that had been eating so many processed food. She would eat food from, those food that you buy from Iceland, for example, that you just warm it for 3 minutes and you eat it. And it was causing so much havoc in her system that when I did the scan, her hormones were all over the place. Her period, she'll see a period for a whole year. Can you imagine somebody seeing a period for the whole year just because of eating the wrong kind of foods? So, food obviously is good for eating, is good for enjoyment, but it's also causing problems in your body. So the first thing I'd like to recommend for anyone that would like to take up this offer today is that I do offer a body scan that scans your organs, your chemicals in your body, your brain, your breast. It scans for the foods that are stressing your body and also weakening your body. Because you are on this program today, if you'd like to take up the offer, I'm giving the offer of 20% off. So it's usually 150, but for today, I would be giving it for 150 to the end of the month. You can text us or call the number to book your appointment and you will get seen with as soon as possible. The next thing I wanted to talk about was research and how research shows that different diseases have been developed as a result of food that we eat. Type 2 diabetes, we've mentioned before. We are still going to talk about it again. Cancer, breast cancer is linked to food. Colon cancer is linked to food. Hypertension, high blood pressure is linked to food. Liver and gallbladder disease, gallstones is linked to food. Sleep apnea is another thing that affects a lot of us, is linked to food. Respiratory problems are also linked to food. Okay. All right, 120 to the end of the month. Okay. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about is sugar. I already mentioned it earlier on, but I want to talk a little bit about it. And many of the labels tell you low fat or low sugar or whatever it is. Those things are dangerous. If you stopped eating sugar and you started eating stevia or any of those things, it is still sugar, however you look at it. Taking honey as well is another form of sugar. For those people that put honey in their house, you notice that after a while, honey becomes like very thick and then the sugar is at the bottom. For those people that have had honey in the house for a while, you would have noticed that as well. So those sort of things will cause problems. Things that have sugar in them, bread has a lot of sugar in it, marinade has a lot of sugar, crackers has a lot of sugar, tomato sauce has a lot of sugar, salad dressing has a lot of sugar. And why am I telling you to avoid sugar? Because it increases your tiredness. It also affects your brain. It affects the bacteria in your body gets really increased, and also your digestive system. For many of us, we know about insulin resistance. So the more sugar you eat, the more the sugar in your blood gets high. And then of course you have a high level of insulin, and then your body becomes insulin resistant, and then you crave more sugar. And then what happens is that the insulin becomes higher and higher and more insulin resistant. Your body becomes more insulin resistant. If you look at the chart that we've got in front of us, too many calories or carbs per meal will spike your sugar level. So what happens is when you eat that sugar, you get a lot of energy, and then maybe by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you start feeling very weak, very tired, very grumpy. And then what happens with that sugar that you're putting in your body is that it becomes fat in your body. Your body begins to store fat, and you're not able to burn that fat. And then, of course, that's when you put on a lot of weight. And then for some people, they decide to skip their meal and restrict calories. What happens is that when you do that, your sugar level drops. Your sugar level drops, and then, of course, you will need to have more sugar to increase your energy, which obviously will cause problems as well, because then you're taking in lots of sugar. For those people that have bread, because some people say, you know, I eat white bread instead of brown bread, or I eat brown bread instead of white bread. For those of you that eat brown bread instead of white bread, it's exactly the same sugar that's in there. So if you have 2 slices of bread, that's equivalent of about 7 to 10 cubes of sugar. So if you're eating 2 slices of bread, whether you eat the white one or the brown one, it's exactly the same amount of sugar in your system. All right, so what are the foods that spike your sugar? You have dried fruits. For many people, they prefer to have dried fruit. People have like apricots and all the other different dried fruits. There are a lot of sugar in them. So when you eat them, you're putting a lot of sugar in your body. Juices that you buy from the shop has a lot of sugar in them. I know they say they're natural sugar, but it also spikes your sugar. Eating a lot of high sugary fruits like pineapple will spike your sugar level as well. Pineapple, strawberries, some of the berries as well will spike. I think blueberry as well will spike your sugar level as well. They are healthy, but when you eat them, don't eat them all together. You could eat them. Bread will obviously spike your sugar level as well. Trans fat will spike your sugar level. Fried food like fried beef, fried chicken, potato, white potato will definitely spike your sugar as well. So what are the foods that can prevent sugar spike? If you have whole grain, you know, bran, rye will obviously reduce that. Apple cider vinegar. It's good to use apple cider vinegar, but you do need to watch it as well, because if you take apple cider vinegar for too long, it will stress your body as well. Cinnamon is good to use in place of sugar if you're taking oats, or you know, you want to have some sugary thing in your body. You can take cinnamon, you know, as in replacement of sugar. Some people use date as well, but you have to be careful with that because date has a lot of sugar. You can also have nuts, but you need to be careful the nuts that you are having. Also, things that prevent sugar from spiking are broccoli, cucumber, and carrots. So those are some of the foods that you can add to your meal. We do have a diabetes combo. So if anyone here, you know, has diabetes or has been suffering from diabetes, we have a diabetes consultation, and we also have a products that can help to reduce your diabetes. But if you wanted your blood sugar to, you know, be brought to balance, we have a product called Blood Sugar Balance that will help with that situation. I wanted to stop for a bit to make it a little bit interactive. Everyone can see this picture, I assume. And if anyone has any of this thing on any part of this picture, if you have pain in any part of the picture, if you raise your hand up and tell us where you have the pain and how this pain affects you. Anyone has pain in any part of the picture you can see?
Hi, Princess Gloria, it's Carol.
Carol, yeah.
Yeah, at the moment I have pains all over in my leg.
So, spots, you have pain in all these spots that are on this picture?
Yeah, my leg, my arms, like the elbow, fingers, my lower back, my feet, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Carol, for telling us for the pain. And for the pain, what do you actually do to help with the pain?
Well, I have rheumatoid arthritis, so I'm on medication, and I'm using different oils, and I've also been on one of your programs, the detox program. I had a body scan about 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah, which has helped as well.
Okay, so
it's it's helped me to eat well as well, to avoid certain foods like you mentioned earlier.
Mhm. So thank you very much, Carol, for pointing out to us. So all the pain in all these different parts of the body are as a result of food, and it's also as a result of inflammation in the body. Remember what I told you about my hand and my Snickers? That's obviously a very nice story, but of course it caused my wrist to be out of use for 3 months. So again, we can have inflammation in different parts of the body, which I am going to explain how the inflammation causes a lot of problem. Oh, Lillian has a hand up. Yes, thank you, Lillian. You are on mute. You are not unmuted, so we can't hear you. Lillian, you want to mute?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I have arthritis on my hips, on my side. It's on both sides. Sometimes I feel it and sometimes I don't. But I do a lot of walking and I exercise. I have changed my diet. I've changed my diet for a while actually. So I eat a lot more greens and I know the things I need to eat. So I try not to have too much pastry stuff. And I take black seed oil as well. And I do Irish moss.
Irish moss is very good, yeah.
Yeah, so I normally just like boil it. No, I don't boil it, sorry. I wash it and then I leave it overnight with lime and I put ginger in it and I just have it. But I don't put anything else in it. Like some people put milk, they put different things in it, but I just have it in this natural state. So I think when I do take it, I can see that my pain is not that bad. Like on the days I don't take it, if I sort of, I'm out all day or I'm somewhere and I haven't got it with me, obviously it's in my fridge because you have to keep it in your fridge in a glass jar. You can't put it in plastic once you've washed it and you've blended it. So if I haven't got it with me, then I can't take it. But yeah, I do find that it does help.
Okay, thank you very much, Lillian. Of course, CMOS does help because CMOS is filled with 94 nutrients, different vitamins and nutrients that will help your body as well. So it does put a lot of things into your body to help with inflammation. But again, the main reason why we have inflammation is food.
Yeah,
So the age, who's that?
Sorry, my name's Jay. Hi. I suffer with an autoimmune disease, so I've got a lot of nerve pain and especially pain in my feet and lower back.
Okay, again, so I'm gonna, okay. Do you want to ask a question or you're just telling us what it is?
Yeah, no, yeah, obviously I know obviously I've used CMOS and stuff in the past, but obviously any other suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Jay, for telling us those things. I will definitely be making suggestions at the end, but I'm just going to the stuff that is causing inflammation in your body. And I always like to use
Princess Glory,
yes.
Turmeric and black pepper is really good.
Yes, definitely. It does help with inflammation. I saw a lady today, I did a scan for a lady today, and she had a lump in her breast, and she took turmeric, and the lump shrunk. Considerable size, yes. Yes, so the turmeric is a very good thing to have, but sometimes when you have too much turmeric, it will cause a lot of stress on your body as well. But you know,
I've found that as well because I was taking turmeric capsules and I found that it did pay a lot of stress on my body as well, actually. So that's a good point there.
Yeah, so you can take turmeric, but you know, take it for some time and then stop and then take it again. So if you just continue to take it for like 3 months, 6 months, it will put a lot of strain and stress on your body. So I just wanted to mention a couple of things that inflammation does to damage our body. One is cardiovascular risk. 2, you will have lots of joint pain and loss of mobility. It also causes a lot of abnormal growth of healthy cells. You will obviously gain weight. So when your body is inflamed for those many sugar and processed food that you have been putting in them, you will definitely put on weight. Your muscles, you will lose a lot of muscle tone. You also have skin aging and wrinkles as well. Memory loss for many people that I have found that have been eating lots of bad things. One of the things I've noticed is that their brain, they have memory issues, like they forget things. Like I'm sure many people here also have that issue where, you know, you're going to the kitchen and then you suddenly forget what you went to the kitchen to get. So again, inflammation and eating the wrong foods will cause that as well. So at this time, I just wanted to say a lot of things that you need to take out of your diet to remove inflammation. Again, remember, inflammation obviously causes pains in different parts of your body. You do need to remove red meats, processed meats, additives, alcohol. I find that when I do scan for a lot of customers, I find that alcohol is stressing their body and weakening their body. I had a client today, she had every kind of alcohol, vodka came up, all sorts of things came up, every kind of alcohol came up, beer, everything came up. Refined sugar also will cause inflammation. Cooking oils, depends on the kind of cooking oil that you use. Cooking oils will cause inflammation as well. High fat diets will cause inflammation. Dehydration as well. You know, when you have the wrong food, you will be dehydrated. So trans fats cause problems in your body as well. So foods that fight inflammation, they're healthy foods like olive oil. So you can change your cooking oil from using canola oil or rapeseed oil to using olive oil. You can also eat berries, lots of cherries, raspberries, acai berries, turmeric. We already mentioned turmeric. You can have strawberries as well. Those will help you to fight inflammation. Consuming fish oils, supplements will also help as well to fight inflammation. We have a combo for arthritis. So anyone that has arthritis, we have a combo that you can use for 8 weeks and your arthritis will be gone, or at least more manageable. But if you didn't want to go for the combo and you just wanted to go for single products, we have a product called Pain Off. The Pain Off, when you spray it on your pain, it actually makes the pain, numbs the pain for 8 hours. And the lumbar and joint care is a liquid product that you take and it will work from inside to reduce the pain. And within months or within weeks, you'll have less pain. So at this time, I just wanted to talk about my top tip 3, and is to avoid gluten-filled foods. And before I continue, I just wanted to mention a couple of things that, you know, having food with gluten, baked foods, you know, those bagel, your bread, your croissants, and all those bakery food that you have, and what it's actually doing to your system. And for people that eat a lot of bread and stuff, the first thing that they have is problem with their gut or problem with their stomach. So they have gastrointestinal problems, like they keep having gas or bloating or a lot of constipation or stomach cramps. For some people that eat a lot of gluten-filled foods, they have itchy skin, dry skin, acne. I was speaking to a customer that came today for a follow-up, and she said to me, whilst I was detoxing, everything was fine. And as soon as I had one bread, she started to have acne. So again, eating those foods will cause a lot of problem on your skin. For some people, they have inflammation in their joints, leg cramp, back pain. For many people that have those foods, sometimes one of the pain, where their pain normally starts, is usually the lower back. That's where I've noticed that most people have the pain, especially when you're gluten intolerant or you're eating gluten-filled foods. Other things. Okay, other foods that you need to avoid as well. Sorry, 1 second. Somebody's asked a question on the chat. Okay, I'll answer Agatha's question in a few minutes, but thank you. So other foods that you need to avoid, for gluten-filled food that you need to avoid, barley, bulgur wheat, couscous. Couscous is the same as rice. For most people, they like to eat couscous because they feel that it's light. It's doing the same harm as rice is to your body. It will also make you put on weight as well. Pasta, farina, panko, spelt, wheat bran, they will put a lot of problems in your body. You will have celiac disease, gluten intolerance if you keep eating these foods. So if you do see any of these names on any food label that you buy, please make sure you avoid them. Some of the foods that we need to avoid, gluten foods that we need to avoid, are bread, cracker, pasta, flour, white flour, cereal. Somebody said to me this today, cereal is good to have. And I said, no, cereal is not good. Cereal causes a lot of problems in your body. Chewing gum. A lot of people say, I like to chew chewing gum because I don't want my mouth to smell. Trust me, it's much better for your mouth to smell than you put bacteria in your body. And what happens with chewing gum is that it spreads the bacteria in your body, makes the bacteria in your body to increase. So please do not eat chewing gum, no matter what, have your mouth spray, put it in a small bottle and spray it in your mouth every couple of whatever you want to do. Foods that you need to avoid are sweet chocolates, condiments, breads, bread cover, barley, we've said already, beer, cubes, Maggi cube. For many of us, we like to use the Maggi cube, please. Maggi cube is full of salt. So if you use Maggi cube, you're adding extra salt on your food, which you don't really need. Your body doesn't need that extra salt. So Maggi cube, you can avoid and use something else instead of Maggi cube. The word Maggi, the one Maggi, you have to avoid that. Fried foods as well, you need to avoid. Cornflakes, any kind of cereal, avoid. Soy sauce, avoid, because they cause problems in your body. So grains to avoid as well. Couscous, we said already. You can take a picture of the page if you want. So when you go to the shop, you can try some of these things out. Salmonella, obviously is caused by eggs, but semolina is also another food that is gluten filled that you need to avoid. Obviously, flour, you can avoid that. Malted milk, you can avoid that. Malt vinegar, avoid that. Brewer's yeast, avoid. Beer, you avoid. Barley, avoid. Rye flour. Oats do not contain gluten, but regular taking of oats will obviously cause a lot of problem in your system. So the food I want you to include in your diet every week, every day: spinach, okra is very good, flaxseed, broccoli, quinoa. Many of the greens that you can see on the screen are good to add. You can swap them as you go along. Top 5 foods I need you to avoid completely. I know we've talked about sugar before, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things that come from sugar. White sugar, brown sugar, they're derived from sugar plants and they cause a lot of problems. So please, the one thing I want people to take out of today is avoid every kind of thing that relates to sugar. Maple syrup, honey, agave, brown rice syrup, all those things are sugar related and they will cause problem in your system. So I also encourage you to read the labels as well to make sure that when you buy those packaged soups, they are full of sugar. Your coffee creamer, your seasonings, some of them have sugar in them as well. So be careful what you are buying. Simple carbohydrates that you need to avoid are white rice, white flour, because they have no fiber in them. And they're just simply sugar that obviously will rest in your digestive system. Crackers, chips, pasta, and noodles are also food that are carbohydrate, but they also have a lot of sugar in them as well. Other things that you need to avoid: yeast. You need to avoid food that contain yeast. So that includes alcohol. So high food that have high yeast include alcohol. So these obviously are fermented into using the yeast. So wine, beer will cause problem for you. Vodka, gin, and all those other alcohol type things will cause problem in your system. Fermented fruits product or fermented food product like vinegar, soy sauce, salad dressing, mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, and other condiments, including vinegar, will put a lot of stress on your body. So please avoid as much as you can. Many of the bread, including sourdough bread, contain yeast. And the reason why we're talking about yeast is because of candida. Most people have candida in their system, which is a natural yeast in your body. But as you continue to take these foods, the yeast continue to spread. And from my research recently, when I was studying about candida, I realized that candida is worse than cancer. It doesn't have cure, but you can use food to reverse it. But you can also use food to spread it. And when it spreads into your body, it starts to put bad things in your blood. And that's what you don't want. So other foods that you need to avoid as well are mold, food that have mold, like pickled meat, smoked meat, like smoked salmon, cured bacon, again, pork, you need to avoid. Cheese, any kind of moldy cheese, you need to avoid. Any kind of cheese, I would suggest you avoid. Peanuts, please avoid as much as you can. Dried fruit, we've said that before. Any bottled food, canned food, or anything in a jar, they all contain sugar as well. So please avoid those. The last and final thing I wanted you to know is mushrooms. Mushroom is full of fungus, and it also causes a lot of problem in people's body, and it puts a lot of stress on your body. I know people say that it's easy to eat, you know, if you're a vegetarian, you want to eat mushrooms, it's fine, but it's causing a lot of problem in your system. So again, other foods that causes mucus as well are banana. Banana causes mucus. So if you want your throat and your lungs to be clear of, you know, mucus, please avoid banana as well. So some food that create mucus are bread, pie, cake, chips, pastries, pancake, jam, jelly, cereal, dairy, eggs, meat. They all create mucus in your system. The foods that will help to clear up the mucus are ginger, garlic, apple, onions, pineapple, broccoli, and lemons. So the food I am recommending that you include in your diet from now are fish. I know somebody's going to ask me, why can't I have beef? You can have beef, but beef takes 4 weeks to digest in your system. And I know a lot of people that have beef, you know, if you continue to have beef, you are putting a lot of stress on your body. And people that do that will have a lot of constipation issues. They have a lot of gut issues as well. And some people I'm finding are having leaky gut issues. We will be talking about gut, I think in 2 weeks' time when we do another session of food, and we will talk about gut and how food is affecting your gut or you having leaky gut. Other foods I recommend that you have are leafy greens like spinach, cabbage, kale, collard green. You can have those. You can have sweet potato as well, but you have to be careful because it's got a lot of sugar in it. Frozen food, canned vegetables can be eaten, but you have to eat them in moderation. You also can have fruits, but you also need to watch your body. So if you have fruits and you feel that is giving gas or making bloated or giving brain fog, please avoid eating that fruit. Other foods that you can introduce or add to your meal are teff, quinoa, rice, barley, and kamut. I haven't really tried kamut yet, but I've seen that it's nice. The oils that I recommend that people introduce in replacement of your vegetable oils are avocado oil, sunflower oil, hemp seed oil, fish oil, flaxseed oil, chia seed, and coconut oil. These are the oils that I recommend, and olive oil are the oils I recommend you to use. You have to also be careful of eating olives because they're pickled and in brine, and for that reason they've become fermented food, so it'll cause problem in your gut. And in conclusion, I encourage everyone to eliminate foods that will cause yeast to grow in your body. And we need to try to kill off the yeast as well and repopulate our intestine with healthy bacteria. Thank you so much for listening to the talk. I have now come to the end and I can answer any questions that anyone has. But before I go into the question, I just wanted Salma to speak for a few minutes to tell us her experience of the scan and how she's felt since she started doing the program.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Salma, we can hear you. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Salma, as mentioned earlier on. And just to say, just briefly, a brief history. Before the scan, I was suffering from severe nosebleed and a lot of emotional distress and stuff like that. But obviously going to the NHS for numbers of occasions, they were unable to find out what the problem was. And then this was becoming very concerning. So not long ago, my mother-in-law has been on this program. So she recommended that, you know what, there's only one solution. So let's just go for the scan and see, you know, if they can find a solution. And I did. And up till today, I keep saying it's the best money spent in all my life. So luckily I went there, and then Mr. Edwards was able to do the scan, and a few products was recommended, and then they were able to tell me what exactly was wrong with my body and how it's affecting my day-to-day activities and stuff like that. And it was saying because of the amount of blood I was losing, it's affecting my sleeping patterns, causing me, it was loads of health effects. So I was put on a program for 21 days. I kid you not. It was hard at first, but then I kept calling Miss Edwards, and she was able to give me advice, what food I should be taking. I followed her on Instagram, so I was able to get the support and the help that I needed during the process. And then I went for my scan, I think 3 weeks ago, and then I kid you not, the change is amazing. I've lost a lot of weight. My skin is looking a lot healthier, and I did experience nosebleed, but the difference was amazing, absolutely amazing. And I think I've experienced it once in the last 6 weeks. Usually I get it every week or every so often, but now I've only experienced it once in the last month or so. And I work from home, and every client that have come to visit me has said nothing but amazing things. You look great, everything about you look amazing, your skin look amazing. What are you doing? So I've been able to recommend a few people to the programs that I'm hoping, with my testimony to all my clients, a lot of us, we look okay from the outside, but internally we're slowly dying, and we're not even aware of this. So I thank God for people like Mr. and Mrs. Edwards, so they're able to do the scan. So I'm just hoping that more people are able to just go for the scan. Even if they want to get the product, go for the scan, because you never know until you do the scan. So thank you very much, Ms. Edwards, and you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salma. God bless you. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Salma, and thank you very much, Agatha, for asking the question. I'm just going to answer Agatha's question. Agatha, you said, what if you bake your own bread? If you bake your own bread, I wouldn't recommend you use it. Use white flour. You can use brown flour, but not all the time. However way you do it, you're still putting gluten in your system. In terms of your first question, you said the question was about bread. So instead of using that, you can use self-raising flour, and you can use spelt flour, you could use bean flour, you could use quinoa flour, and you could use amaranth flour as well. So those are the sort of flour that you can use to bake your bread instead of the white bread. So that is obviously not gluten, doesn't have gluten content, and also you'll be avoiding the wheat. In terms of your second question, you need to eat whole foods, food that are not processed. So Agatha's second question was, what should I eat? Eat food that are not processed. I already mentioned that, you can have quinoa, you can have vegetables, you can have the berries, you can have green, you can have yam, you can have plantain, but not the very ripe plantain, because obviously you're putting a lot of sugar in your body. So you do need to avoid foods that poison your body, which we have obviously mentioned throughout the talk tonight. Anyone have any question? Lorraine, you said, I did mention all the foods that you can have at the end. Those were the 5 foods I said you should include, your spinach, your vegetables, and all the other stuff that I've said. Carol said she's lost weight. Thank you very much, Carol. She's lost weight since she started avoiding those food that are not good for her. Any other questions? If not, we are good to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. If you do have a question, you can ask now, or you can put your hand up and then we'll answer the question. So I'll give a few minutes to anyone that would like to ask any questions regarding food or regarding the stuff that we talked about. I will just bring up the slide again for the foods that you can have. Okay, if anyone would like to take advantage of the scan today, we did say the scan is usually 150, but if you wanted to do the scan, we can give it to you at £120, so it'll be 20% off. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Have a nice evening, and we'll see you. We'll obviously be having another talk in 2 weeks' time of the foods that you need to eat for your body type. Oh, thank you, Salma. Salma says she's lost weight and she's also having good sleep as well, and her sleep has improved. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Have a lovely, lovely evening, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time when we have another talk about food. We will be having different talks. So we have talk about menopause. We have a lot of different talks, talk about gut health and all things relating to food that you can have. And we also have a couple of other services that you can make use of. We do have a meal plan. So for anyone that would like to have a meal plan of the foods that they can have, you can contact us. We are on social media. On Instagram, the Instagram page is Glory Edward Organic, Glory Edward Nutrition, and also Chef Imani's Kitchen. So those are my Instagram handle pages. I think I need to put on the screen. Yeah, so these are the social media pages. So if you'd like to contact us, the number is 078-455-1292. And if you would like to email us to book an appointment, the email address is also on the screen. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Glory. Very informative, very, very informative. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Glory. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
much.
Thank you.
Bless
Thank you.
you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Jay, are you Jennifer? No.
No. I'm Jay.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for joining. Do you normally join our talk or you just got the link?
No. This is my first time. Carol put me on to you guys. So yes, I'll definitely be joining again in the future.
Oh, yeah. So we'll do another talk, I think, in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and you know your scan. Whereabouts are you for the scan?
Wood Green.
Okay, Wood Green. Okay, no problem. I'm in West London, so it's a little way for me to get there. I don't walk very well, but I'll try and make provisions at some point. Yeah.
Okay, you can contact me and I can tell you other ways we can do. We do online scan as well, and sometimes if you were going to pay extra, we could come to your house. So we do
bless
that.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good to know. I'll be in touch. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Bye.